G'day everyone, it's time for take two on my fix on the EGR coolant line on my Disco 3. So previous video you probably would have remembered I've basically done like a custom setup. I've just replaced all the factory stuff and just put my own lines. It's pretty simple, there's not much involved. Only trouble is, try as I might, the temperature sensor that I've used, I just cannot get it to work with this. It's a different resistance curve. I can't find any replacement temperature sensors that are threaded that will match the Land Rover resistance curve. So I've had a look at a couple of different options, whether I can reflash the ECU to accept the calibration of the new sensor. That doesn't really seem like it's a possible thing at this stage. I've tried. I've sent Gap Diagnostics an email because you can reflash certain bits and pieces with the Gap IAD tool. I've tried Bell Automotive Services in the UK because they do engine flashes that can work with the IAD tool as well, so they tell me that they can't do anything there. I've even chatted to a workmate who's got plenty of tuning software and whatnot for pretty much nearly everything you can poke a stick at, and he's not much help either. So he was useless, and he doesn't watch this, so I can say what I like about him anyway. So that's a bit of a long-winded story, isn't it? So the reason why I just didn't use the factory stuff is because, well, let's get this out of the packet. Okay, and before I get too nuts, if you do need to replace your EGR cooler line on the Disco 3, there is the Land Rover part number. So, I don't know if I'm too close to the camera or not, but that is the factory replacement. Now, that is the plastic line that failed. This one's got a new temp sensor, so that's kind of what I wanted. If I could have just gotten that little plastic part, I would have been happy, but unfortunately, you get the whole rest of it. So I'm still going to go down the route of bypassing the EGR cores. I'm basically going to leave most of that as it is. I am going to chop off from this side, so I'll keep basically the clamp mount. I'll chop it off from that side. I'm just going to, for the moment, I'm just going to use a brass joiner and just a rubber bung. Mainly, I am going to just replace that setup with just a simple bung in the end. I just can't get one right now before Christmas. So that's why I'm just going down that route, because these rubber bungs, I have heard from various sources, they don't really last that long and they can fail. So I'm not going to run that long term. I was thinking about using this right side, and basically my original thought was to use that previous reducer that I had used and put that on here and then run another hose from there. But interesting, from the factory, this is a 22mm barb, and it looks like it reduces down to the 19mm or the 3/4 inch. So that I reckon I can use. I can just run it there and run it up the other side of the engine. So I'm going to whack all this in, and I'll show you once I'm done. Obviously, I've redone the plug for the new sensor on the Disco, so I'm going to have to redo the old plug again, which luckily I didn't throw it away, so I just got to resolder it back on. So not all is lost there. So yeah, I'll get into it and I'll show you once I'm done. Okay, so apart from the plug replacement, the physical install is done. So as you can see, for this side, I've chopped it off here, basically left it at that mount just for support of that T, and I've put that blanking cap on there. Now, like I said earlier, I am going to put a plug in there, so that is basically like 2 points of potential leakage sources there, so plug in there, it'll just be the one. If there was an easier way to do it from here, then that probably would, but this will work. So on the right hand side, this is all untouched, so I've still got it sitting on the factory mount sort of there, and I've brought it up along, and basically that original length untapped, basically that original length unchanged is pretty much fine to go straight into that previous bit of the factory line. So I've taken the hard line out. So that's it here. So I've just chopped that one little mount just to give a bit more room, and like I said, it's just redundant pipe work. All this here joined in at the EGR crossover pipe, so just that T there. So that's all been removed from there. You could go further and remove all the crossover line. I'm not going to bother until I need to pull it out. So I've just got to get that plug change over, so I'll do that now. Okay, so temperature sensor plug has been replaced, so original back on. So we've got a brand new temp sensor in there because, see that little tab on the end there with the old one that broke off when removing it. So just nice to have a new one there. That actually came with all this kit too, by the way. So that's the main part of the EGR coolant line bypass done. Now, sort of moving on now, I've got a couple of little plastic pieces to replace at the back of the engine. They're basically two quick connects. So two quick connects. Thanks to viewer Phil he had a couple extra of these he's given to me, so thanks very much, mate. It's greatly appreciated. I've just got to work on the T's at the back. So yeah, I was hoping to get this done before Christmas. I'm not sure how I'm going to go for time. If not, it'll be after Christmas. We'll see how we go. As usual, things are just bloody hectic. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what's required to bypass your EGR coolant lines. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.